Hey, welcome. My name is Harrison Barron from Growth Generators, and in this video, I'm going to be doing the second part of my HubSpot training. So if you are new here, HubSpot is a CRM, customer relationship manager, where you can basically manage almost all of your, well, I shouldn't say almost all of your customers in your company and how to really grow your company. When we implemented it, we did a total 180. We became extremely more profitable. We were able to follow up with more people, close more deals, and ultimately just build a bigger and better company. And the key part of that is with structure, which is incredibly important. So this is the second part. If you're seeing this now and you haven't watched the first part already, I highly recommend go watching the first part. Now in the second part, we are going to be covering documents, meetings, quotes, service tickets, automations, reports, and then probably some settings and things like that. So we are going to be jumping in. The first part we covered contacts, companies, activity feed, lists, inbox, chat flow, snippets, templates, ads, emails, landing pages, forms, deals, and tasks. So the other thing that you should know is if none of these or you want more clarification on any of these, definitely hit the like button so more people can see this video, but also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because we're going to be doing a whole bunch of training on all of these, how to do a deep dive in all of these, and how to make them work for you. Now, in this video, we're also covering the free version of HubSpot. We will be doing the paid versions of HubSpot down the road, but ultimately, this is to help, demystify and tell you guys exactly what you get in the free version. So let's jump into my screen here. All right, welcome back. So we have... we're going to be jumping right into documents. And documents is literally as self-explanatory as it can be. Now, keep in mind, on the free version, you can only have 5 documents. So if you're sending contracts, proposals, if you have legal documents, whatever it is, typically your 5, for small companies that aren't going on the paid versions, typically your 5 most commonly sent out documents. It could be an onboarding document, whatever it may be. This is where you're going to do it. It's going to be an upload document from your computer, existing file in HubSpot, Dropbox, Google Drive, Box. You're just literally going to go in, select it, sign in, approve, and you can go grab you can grab that document right there. You could also create new folders for when you have a lot of documents, but chances are pretty good that if you're on the free version, you're probably not creating any folders. Next, we're going to do meetings, and this is easily one of my favorite parts. If you use Calendly, you can absolutely run from Calendly. You do not need that. For the sake of this, I am going to jump into my personal account so that way you guys can see exactly how we use everything. Perfect. And how I use my meetings area. So this is the meetings section. So fill your Calendly automatically. The Marketing Hub Pro, we're about to be upgrading. But in here, you'll be able to see all of your meetings and who's viewing them, how many meetings have been booked from it, and all that kind of stuff. So in here, you're going to be able to either create a meeting for your person or your team. Keep in mind, this does integrate with a variety of different services. So if you wanted to put something on Zoom, it will make life a million times easier. It automatically generates a Zoom link for you. So in this case, we're just going to hit personal, right? The owner, who is it going to be, if it's going to be myself or somebody else. The meeting headline, so meet with Harrison. This is going to be general meeting with Harrison. Now I'm going to, and this is the URL now, so I'm going to be doing 2 different options. I'm going to be doing a half hour to 1 hour meeting, and that way I can just send this out. So if somebody needs it, this is actually a meeting invite that I do need to make, genuinely. Location, I'm just going to select Zoom because I already have Zoom integrated. Invite subject, meeting with Harrison Barron. Invite description, please send any relevant Perfect. And then you could do booking page language. So user visitors, browser settings. This is pretty interesting. So if you're really only dealing with a specific population, you can go in and choose that. And then use visitors browser settings, right? Date and format time. Pretty self-explanatory. The cool part is you can modify this. You can change it. So if you wanted to adjust any of this kind of stuff, you can go in there and do that. You can send a test email if you'd like. Email notifications. Typically, I like to do an email notification. I also like to do a pre-meeting reminder. I typically like to do 2. So I like to do one 15 minutes before. And I like to do one about an hour before, so that way they don't miss the meeting. And that way I'm not sitting there waiting around or anything like that. You can add up to 3. Then you can do include the invite description, preview, reminder, email. I'm not going to do that, but it would just look just like this. Then you're going to hit next. When am I available? So right now I'm going to just do 9 to 5. You can go in here. You can do Monday through Friday. So you can select Monday through Friday every day, Saturday and Sundays, right? If you wanted to have somebody wanted to have coffee with you on the weekends, you can also go in. You don't need to necessarily change that URL. You can keep one URL and you can just modify these settings, which is phenomenal over a period of rolling weeks. So I'm going to do 3 weeks out. Or you can do a custom date range. So if there's a particular time that you want to do, I personally like the period of rolling weeks, and I like to keep it usually between 2 weeks to about 4, a month out. I really don't do anything more than that. I've realized that after about the 3-week mark, people seem to fall off. But if people are really good with their calendars, they will not fall off. Minimum meeting notice time. I will not take a meeting on less than 3 days notice. Actually, I'm going to change it to 1 day's notice. Buffer time. I need at least, without a doubt, 1 hour in between my meetings if it's, somebody who I don't know or anything like that. So I want to make sure that I have between my last meeting and my next meeting about 1 hour, because I might need to get work done during the day. I might need to go deal with an employee or something like that. Now, for you, that may vary depending on if you're managing people or something like that. Back when I was a salesperson, I needed about 15 minutes in between meetings to prep for the next one. Put in all my notes for the last one, open up the new stuff, grab a drink of water, and get ready for the next meeting. But obviously pretty self-explanatory. For this, I'm just going to keep Monday through Friday. I don't know exactly what hours I'm going to do just yet. Buffer time, 1 hour, and then start frequency, I will allow them to be every 15, starting on the 15. So 3 o'clock, 3:15, 3:30, 3:45, 4 o'clock. I think it's strange when people do 5 minutes. It's a little confusing. There's too many options. And then what do I require? So I need first name, last name, email address. I definitely want a phone number in here. And this is where you can add any custom properties that you've made. If you want to add a custom question, what are we covering? Save, and then I can make these both required. And then I can either default to a confirmation page or redirect to another page. So I'm going to redirect them to growthgenerators.com. This is a shameless plug for my company here. So I'm going to grab this information, jump up here, grab that, plug that right in, and then it's going to bring them to this page here. Pre-populated fields with known values, control whether or not forms are pre-populated. Yeah, I mean, if their system already knows, then sure, why not? Auto submit when all fields are pre-populated, right? This I don't particularly love this, because if somebody has pre-populated forms and your Google or Edge knows all your information, it's going to go immediately, and it'll pretty much bring you right through there. Privacy and consent, GDPR. I don't remember what GDPR means, but basically it needs to have a double opt-in so people know that they're not going to get spammed. This is something you definitely have to be careful of. It's typically, from what I understand, it's in Europe and it's in Canada. It is not relevant to the United States. I would say yet. I'm sure it's probably coming. This is your customized option. So notice consent, Barron Media Group is committed to protecting, this is your GDPR stuff if you want to do it. Typically don't do it just because I'm really not dealing with anybody from Canada or Europe just yet. And typically the people that are, they're pretty cool with it. I don't spam anybody anyway. And there it is. So there's the general meeting with Harrison. I can copy that link, and this is actually what it's going to look like if somebody goes to that link. So they'll be able to grab a link with me. Here's your times, right? 2:15, 2:30, 2:45, 3 o'clock. That's why the 15 minutes is a little weird, because it's just a little too aggressive as far as your timing goes. Or every 5 minutes, I should say. That's why I like the 15. It's reasonable, right? 2:15, 2:30 meetings. And then I put it for just a couple days out, just for the sake of this. I'm probably going to go back and modify a little bit. And there's your options, right? So if you want to have a conversation or anything, or you have a question, this is the little chat bubble that you would normally see. That's your meetings. Once you select this, I'll just show you guys. First name, last name, email address, phone number, what are we covering, right? And if you have more questions, you just have to scroll down, boom, you hit confirm, and then it goes on to both calendars, which is a dream. Makes life very easy. It's far better than Calendly. And for the sake of this, I am going to go back to the testing area here. Give that a second to load. And we will go into quotes. So I particularly don't love the quoting creation process on here. And the reason why is because I'd much prefer to use a third-party app. When I say a third-party app, typically I like PandaDocs. It just looks so much better than a kind of a boring little template like this. If you want to create one, create a new deal, right? And this is what you're going to be able to create. So deal name test 5,000, right? Create deal type, new business owner, wonderful. And then there it's going to be, right? So then we can hit next. Comments to buyers. This deal will build you far more traffic to your website. Purchase terms, if purchased. And the cool part is too is you can do insert links. So if you already have purchase terms on your website or anything like that, and then if you have a snippet, if you already created a snippet, expiration date, pretty important. So 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, deal name test, right? And then you're going to hit next. Add contacts. So if I want to add a contact to this, who is it inside that system? So if it was Brian, we can go and select Brian, hit save, add a company, right? If there's a company attached to them. So we'll just do HubSpot for now. HubSpot Inc. Right? Pretty self-explanatory. Comes with all their information. Your info, right? Me, if you can add your company stuff. You can then add line items. So adding... you can create, the problem is with the free version, you actually can't create a product library, but you can create custom line items. So you can go in here, make them over and over and over again. It's a little meticulous. That's why I like PandaDocs for $15 a month. It's way better, in my opinion. In here, we're just going to do line item test, SKU 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. Unit price, $5,000. Unit cost, what is our margin? So unit cost might be $3,500. Actually, it's probably closer to $4,000. Maybe a little less on there, depending on the services that people are asking and the agreement terms. Right? We typically give 30 days to pay, depending on the client. If we have a feeling that they are going to be pains in the butt, we may ask for, typically we'll actually do 30 days prior. And then if you don't pay by the 30th day, we'll let you know. And then we'll give you 5 days of freedom before we put a squash on it. We put everything on hold. Add taxes, fees, and discounts. If there's anything, you're going to hit next again, enable payment. So this is locked. Use e-signature, also locked, include space for written signature, counter signature, right? These are all things that will help you create a quote in here. Now, this is new. This used to never be a thing. They did roll this out, I would say, I think last year at some point. We just don't use it. I'm not going to hit create a quote because I don't want to put it in the system, because I will be using the system at some point down the road. But essentially, that's what your proposal is going to, or your quote's going to look like. So there's all your information, right? Line item test, one-time subtotal, purchase item, signatures, right? Questions, contact me, all that kind of stuff. And then you hit send and it'll go right to that person. There's no other way around that. You can create a bunch of quotes in here. Like I said, I love PandaDocs. I will probably be married to PandaDocs forever. It's just for the cost that it has, and even the premium packages, I think of like $60 a month. It just looks so good. We've actually upsold a lot of stuff on there. So if you're looking to grow your business, definitely recommend it, because it gives you more freedom. You can put it in different areas to help you upsell. Like, hey, we offer this, we offer this. Typically, people really, really enjoy that. Next is going to be service. So we don't really use the service ticket in-house yet. We do plan on doing it, but want to learn more about tickets. But essentially, if you're doing service stuff, new, waiting on contact, waiting on us, and then closed. So if somebody wants to put in a new ticket, or they call you saying, hey, I'm having an issue, right? Website load speed issue. Ticket description, website load speeds are very high. Source is going to be chat, email, form, phone number. So if they called in or whatever it is, you have your ticket owner, right? So if you have somebody just running service, then you have priority, low, medium, high, and then you have a create date. So that would obviously be today. You can attach it to a company. So we could do Barron Media Group, right? Add a timely activity for Barron Media Group in these tickets. I'm just going to not press all the buttons, so that way it doesn't mess with the system too much and I have to go delete too many things. Create and add another one if you're getting phone calls all day long, right? If you're a support desk or anything like that, You can create it. Now it's going to bring you in here. You have to go in and then resolve it. So just like before, activity notes, emails, calls, tasks, meetings, company, deals, anything like that, maybe a support ticket turns into a deal. There you go, right? It does happen pretty frequently. But now if we go back, you can see it's here, right? Waiting on contact. So we did some work, waiting on contact, or they're waiting on us, and then it's closed. It's been resolved. Import actions. So if you're coming from another system, you can do an import. It's going to just say like a CSV or a two-way sync, which works great if you are already on another platform and you want to either use that platform and just keep track of it in here, however you choose to run it. You have support pipeline. You can do all pipelines or edit pipelines. If you have multiple pipelines, all tickets, my open tickets, unassigned tickets. I mean, it really gives you as much information as possible. It gives you two different views in here. Like I said, this is typically the view that we use because we can scroll down, but if you have a lot of information in there, it may make sense to use the other one. And that's service. You don't get the Service Hub. That's under Service Hub Professional. It's definitely something that is helpful. Typically, bigger companies are going to utilize it way more than smaller companies are going to do that. Then you have automation. Automation is completely locked on the free versions. Now, sequences used to be available on Sales Starter. Now they are required to have at least Sales Professional. In this one, you also need Sales Professional for workflows and things like that. So depending on what you're going to be doing with it, it could make your life very much so easier. They're constantly modifying and changing these every 3 to 6 months or so. So if you see a feature that you really want in the starter, right? So this is Sales Hub Professional, Hub Enterprise, Playbooks. Each one is going to be locked under something. So these are Sales Professionals. Typically, the starters are really just kind of like your foot in the door stuff, but these are locked. So you need to have at least one of these three. Then you can have reports. So you have your analytics tools. So if this is going to integrate with your website, this is where you can pull it. Now, this is locked because they want you to go to Marketing Hub. I believe this is under Marketing Hub Professional, so they changed it. It used to be Starter. Then you have your dashboards. So if you wanted to create a dashboard like we saw in that beginning, chat overview, email overview, lead generation, marketing channel performance, marketing sales manager, sales opportunities, sales rep, sales service hub, right? It just goes on and on. Website visits, engagements. I want all the information. Yep. Everyone visits engagements who can access this. And then if this was integrated with your website appropriately, this is where you would see all this information. Now in here, upgrade to Marketing Hub Professional. It always wants you to upgrade. It's not a bad thing. They just want you to upgrade to get the best data possible in here. That way it's all in one place. And typically people that are using HubSpot are using the pro versions. It's great for a small business. And then as you build up and grow and grow and grow, you'll eventually hit a point where you do need the professionals. And typically the professional platforms pay for themselves. I should clarify when I say professional platforms. When you're using the professional stuff, you're typically bringing on a marketing company such as us or somebody else. And you're generating so much business from it that it pays for itself and typically your marketing people. So let's just say if you spend $60,000 on marketing and you also have this system, right, which is $800 a month for marketing professional, you're looking at right around $10,000 on top of that. So you're talking about $70,000 a year. But if that marketing company brings you in $250,000 to $500,000 a year in business, it's a no-brainer, right? Money in and you're getting a lot of money out. So let me jump back in here. But that's reports. So pretty self-explanatory. You have your dashboards. And then lastly, you have your reports. So you will have web sessions by device. This is going to give you as much information as possible, but you'll be able to do web sessions by country, top converting landing pages, web sessions quality by source, web visitor engagement, web session by source. However you choose to read these and create these, you can create more. Just know that there is some restrictions on what you can do. Report library, if you wanted to go and check your library of all the reports that you've created, but you will consistently hit roadblocks if you're running reports because they are a more premium version or premium offering on here. Last but not least, we're gonna jump into the search feature. So the search feature is phenomenal. So if I wanted to pull up and I didn't want to go to contacts and I knew, maybe you have 500 people or 5,000 people in here, right? You can type in search, right? This was completed. We can close that out. If you want to search HubSpot in here. it's going to give you the option to go click in that company. So typically, if we get a phone call, we drop it right in there. Boom, brings us right to where we need to go. The next thing is going to be your marketplace. So if you want to add apps, you want to have an asset marketplace, solution directory, connected apps, purchased assets, anything like that can all be done in here. This will be a training down the road. It's extremely in-depth, and there's a lot to cover in here. Settings. Settings are extremely important. This is going to be the backbone or the lifeblood of your business. Now, there are far too many settings for me to go through, but I'm going to cover just a brief overview of each and every single one. So, this is your settings page, contacts, right? Companies, privacy, consent. You can turn on, manage, go to properties, change anything you want. You'll have your general settings in here, which is obviously you're going to be your general settings. So who am I, right? I'm Harrison Barron. This is my information. Now it comes up with my pre-populated picture because I have multiple accounts or one account that manages multiple companies. We have notifications. How do you want to receive your notifications? So email notifications are on, right? Desktop, maybe it's the bell, pop-up, browser, other apps, right? Workplace by Facebook, Slack, mobile apps, all in here. So how do you want, it's really how do you want to receive those notifications and what are you okay with? Expand all items, right? So you can just check and uncheck what you're comfortable with. Pretty self-explanatory. If you're going to put on two-factor authentication, this is where you would do it, right? Remove two-factor authentication, remove SMS, set up Google Authenticator, view backup codes, right? There's 10 codes that you can use. God forbid you get locked out of the account. You have to save those somewhere. Your email address, all that kind of stuff. Then you have your account defaults. So this is really where you want to go put in your information. So you would put in your company name, company domain, company address, city, state, zip code, country, which I guess you could do business with anybody anywhere. Time zones are very important because this will keep you in check with the rest of the system. So if you are in, for example, I'm in North Carolina right now and I was in New York, so that's Eastern, but if I moved to California or Texas or something like that, you would want to keep the right time zone in there so that way it automatically syncs everything appropriately. If you keep an Eastern time zone, be ready for everything to be in Eastern times, not Central or Mountain or Pacific times. You have your security, right? Two-factor authentication. You have your branding. This is where you can update and increase, add your branding. So images, logo name, logo alt text, favicons, anything like that. If you want to remove the HubSpot branding, you do need to get a starter kit. Any colors, if you have company colors, this is the place to add them. If you want to change these colors around to whatever you want, this is where you could do it, right? So if I wanted to keep a nice little red, I can keep a nice little red. You can add more brand colors. We're going to leave this page for now. User defaults, so if it's in English, if you prefer to work in a different language. Any currencies, so that way currencies are uniform, US dollar, but if you wanted to add more currencies or change more currencies, you can do that. You have your users and teams. This is where you can start to add people. Create user, you can add them via their email address. So if I added my, let's say I added a test@testing.com email address, it'll then ask you, what permissions do you want to give? So CRM tools, do they have access to it or do they not have access to it? Companies, contacts, marketing, what levels of marketing am I giving them? Marketing access, marketing tools, all this kind of stuff is going to be in here. Sales, if you want to make them a super admin, so if it's a partner in a company or your company manager, even a company manager, you might want to restrict a little bit depending on what they're going to be doing. Service, right? Looking for tickets, permissions, the objectives. Okay, so that's a new update. And you'll constantly see these new little green boxes all over the place. If you do, that means it's just an update that they moved something. That way you're not going to look for something somewhere. Service access, right? Does anybody need access to it? Reports, what can you do? Edit, own, create. Some people you might just want to be able to view. Then you have your account, so use this toggle to give access account configuration user management tools, right? This is going to help add and edit users, right? So maybe this is your senior level manager or VP of the company where they can come in here and do this. App Marketplace, do you want them to be able to purchase anything? And then you'll hit next and then send out the invites to those people. For the sake of this exercise, we're not going to be doing that. You can also create teams. So if you have a person that's added to a team, now this is locked in the free version, but if you had a sales team, you can create uniformity between all of them, so you're not going back and forth and trying to mess around with who does what and stuff like that. Integrations, connected apps, email integrations, e-commerce, API key, email service provider. I'm going to just cover email integrations because more than likely you probably are coming from a Constant Contact or a HubSpot. You're going to definitely connect your email inboxes for sure, because you can send emails right through HubSpot and it tracks them. You can set this up. You can use send data to the CRM instead. Log and track. So BCC, right? Is there anything that you want to BCC? Now, if you use this BCC, it'll automatically log that email inside of HubSpot without you doing anything. Forward address, never log, right? These are all different permissions and things like that. Any configurations you want to make on default size, anything like that. But this is just it's gonna make your life a lot easier. Any advanced options too, if you're IMApping something. Then you're going to have your tracking code. This is the code that needs to go on your website. So in here, this is going to be the tracking code. It'll actually tell you what you need, WordPress installation, right? So you download the the HubSpot WordPress area, email to a web developer. So if you have a web developer working on your stuff, you can just email this right to them. They will know exactly what to do. All the instructions can be found there, or there's also a bunch of buttons that, detailed instructions can be found here. Advanced tracking, so if you need other things to be tracked, so automatic cross-domain linking, limit tracking to these domains, right? Limit cookies and subdomains, bot filtering, exclude traffic from certain IP addresses. If you know that you're working with a company that's going to be hitting you with a lot of traffic, that might be an IP address you want to watch out for. Cookies, pretty self-explanatory. Privacy and consent, not going to go through that. Once again, pretty self-explanatory. You have data management. This is pretty important. So you have properties, right? These are all your properties. These are going to be all your groups of information, record customization. But essentially, this is really where you're going to want to add and adjust things. If you want to create a new property, you want to come in here and edit a property. So if you wanted to change some things in annual revenue, right? So it's a single line text right now. But if you wanted to change it to one of these properties, which I had mentioned previously in the first training, single line text, multi-line text, single checkbox, multiple checkbox, drop down select, radio select, data picker, and all that kind of stuff. But this is where you can create, adjust, and modify any of these. Typically, I tell people you're welcome to customize as much as you want. Just make sure that you add good notes and you take good notes and you remember everything that you're doing, because if you customize too much, and we actually had a customer do this, we were just onboarding him. He wanted to do it himself. We just got him set up in one of the free versions. He customized so much he forgot what he was working on, and it didn't destroy his business, but it definitely slowed him down later on until he remembered everything again. Was definitely a little bit confused. I had to go back in, shake off some rust, and help him again with this whole process. So last but not least, we have some objects. So if these are any objects that you want to change, modify, right, contacts and companies, this is essentially where you can go in, modify all these things. You will see sometimes things in multiple areas. It's just HubSpot wants it to be as easy as possible for you to go in here. If you wanted to modify your deals, right, these are your deal names. So this is where you would figure out your essentially your pipeline of appointments scheduled. So if you wanted to change this, any automation that needs to happen, you need to upgrade to Sales Hub. So let's say you send a proposal out. If it gets opened, you can set it so it'll automatically move or anything like that. But it's cool. You'll be able to adjust these win probabilities. So if you know that if you get a decision maker is brought in, right, you might know that for your company, it's a 70% likelihood that you're going to close. So that way the upper management can then estimate where you guys are going to be at. Then you'll have tickets. Pretty self-explanatory. Once again, products and quotes. I'm not going to go through all these. They're very self-explanatory. Import and export. This is where you're going to be able to import your data and export your data. So you'll be able to go in, adjust, modify anything like that you may need to do. Go to import, right? All pretty self-explanatory. And then you have your tools. So you have your inbox, any inboxes that you're going to be doing down the bottom left here. Inboxes, team management, filtering rules. And then lastly, you have your marketing. So ads, emails, forms. So if you wanted to modify some information or default stuff in your email, here it is. This is where you would do it. Subscription type, so marketing information and all that kind of stuff. Lastly, you can have your notifications, what notifications are going on your system. And then to top it all off, you can have your profile and preference, which is where you'll be able to do, it's where that general thing is, but if somebody gets lost, you have your profile, you have your email, right? What is your email? Email signature, include unsubscribe link if you want people to be able to unsubscribe. Manage connected emails, right? This will all be filled out as you put more data in here. Calling, connect calling if you have a VoIP system that you use, so that way you can go right to that. Your calendar link, so connect your calendar, and then your tasks or anything like that. Get prompted to create a follow-up every single time you complete a task, right? So if you know that you're kicking things down the road, this is where you would want to do it. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I would just say, like, hey, if you're going to keep pushing things down the road, that would be where you want it to go, because you're constantly working on checkpoints or milestones with the company. Last but not least, you have your account and billing. Pretty self-explanatory. If you go in here, you'll be able to see you can either delete your account, you can upgrade any company information that they need to know about. So primary contact, billing contact, decision maker, right? If these are all different people inside of here, this is something good. So that way the HubSpot team, if you need help, knows where to go, and ultimately your team knows where to go. Transactions, if there's been any transactions and any documents, right, terms of service that are important. Hubspot Academy, this is where you can go to learn. Tremendously helpful. This is where all of your information is going to be. So if you wanted to go through a formal training program, so HubSpot CMS for developers, how to advertise on Instagram, how to build a compelling competitive strategy, right? This is where it's all going to be. Then we have pricing and features. I will be creating an entire video on pricing and features to demystify it, because apparently it's a hot topic. But this is where you'd be able to select your pricing and features. You go in here, you can see what they have, what they're offering. Marketing Hub, which is their most popular, $800 a month for the Sales Pro, $45 a month for the Starter. And then you have $3,200 a month for Enterprise. Then you have product updates. So this is anything that might be coming out. So 4 exciting updates to custom report builder in beta, right? These are all things that are happening. Like this happened today. This is happening this week. Just kind of what's going on. So you can stay ahead of the game. Account, automation, CRM, inbox, marketing reports, website. They have a huge team of people working on this constantly. And then training and services. So if you wanted to, go in here, HubSpot Academy, HubSpot onboarding, HubSpot Sales Hub onboarding, CRM consulting, template setup, service onboarding, right? If you want help, you can go find a partner, or you can reach out to us. We're happy to help you with that. Any add-ons that you may want, or any hubs, Marketing Hub, Sales Hub, Service Hub, and CMS Hub. And that would conclude the training. Wow, I did that just about an hour. I am pretty impressed with myself. Did them back to back. So that is one of the trainings that I would normally give somebody if they're interested in using HubSpot. And by making this, I just saved myself a bunch of time. Content marketing for the win. But if this is something that you're thinking about doing, I highly recommend, if you're tossed between Zoho or Act or Infusionsoft or any of these other platforms, honestly, I've used a bunch of them. I keep coming back to HubSpot. The functionality is phenomenal. The way it looks is phenomenal. It's funny. I had a buddy of mine use Zoho. He's like, no, Zoho is the best. Zoho is the best. Meanwhile, everything he sends me is from a different system, and it doesn't seem like it integrates and works well. Where this, it's flawless. I mean, you can send emails out of here. Like I just got an email from MailChimp. The last one was from Constant Contact, and the bottom information. I don't want to say it's sloppy for somebody that's looking for it. I see it, but not even that it's sloppy. It's the fact that looking at it, if I was him, it would drive me nuts going to all those places for different solutions. This is your pretty much all-in-one solution to run everything. And then the premium versions have crazy stuff. We'll be getting into the premium versions down the road. We have a lot of training to do before we get there. But I hope these videos help. This is ultimately the goal. If you're thinking about getting a premium version, by all means, like I said, let us know down in the comments below. Or if you already have a premium version and, or you're a new employee and you're getting on with a company, by all means, let us know in the comments down below as well. If you could, turn the like button, that color blue right there. That would be great. We appreciate likes. And like I said, leave comments, questions, anything like that you may have on your mind, by all means. That is a way that we can build better content, help you down the road, help you for free, because normally we charge for helping people, and then hit the little subscribe button, the little notification bell, so you never miss another video by us. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great, wonderful rest of the day, night, whatever it may be. And thank you guys so much for checking this out. We are coming out with a bunch of new content down the road, so definitely stick around. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Other than that, have a great day, and I will talk to you later. My name is Harrison Barron.